doing, guys? Mike Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training with new convert Onyx. And Onyx is about a 2-year-old Dalmatian. He's had very little exposure to environment and the outside. He's basically a fear biter. The reason we put the muzzle on is to protect me more than anything else. And how you approach this, I can take my time, 3 to 5 days, 10 days, whatever it takes, and slowly let kind of hunger set in, using food. But there's a technique, depends on the dog, but I can see from this dog, it's all fear. And so getting him over that as quick as I can and not letting him hang in any one area where it ends up being where the dog plateaus and he doesn't want to work his way out of it. If you give him the choice, he's going to take that choice. Wait for me to put down the bowl, wait for me to get him, not really build that bond with me because he's not basically forced to, right? We're going to do what's called flooding. Flooding is an accepted principle that basically we get the dog through it a lot faster and done it over. It sounds very dramatic. There's one trainer out there, I wouldn't call him a trainer, but he's a guy that's got the sensationalism of the internet. He goes around, he hangs the dog up basically and puts him up in the air and then fights through it and gets through it. He looks like a hero because he's getting to the other side. And it's basically flooding. Where I disagree with him, man, is that he doesn't stay with the client. He just moves on to the next city. He's after the sensationalism of social media, and it looks so dramatic to have a dog that's trying to eat him, and then he hangs him up for a while, keeps putting the pressure on the dog. He's flooding the animal until the animal gets through it. But then the problem with me is that he's not taking the time on the other side of all the work that's got to be done. Remember, when we're doing this, my goal is to get to the dog to a whole nother level where he's confident, secure with himself. And that's why I do an kennel training program, because the dog's going to be with me for 30 days. We'll get through this, we'll build our bond, and now I'll start building the dog, people, places, things, exposure, and I'll be putting him through all this stuff to get him through it with the obedience, but it's more than just heel, sit down, stay. You hear me saying that all the time. And I'll get the dog to a point where now I can build the dog. Okay, so here's what happens. I'm going to go and I'll do another yak session about it as we keep going through this, and I'll use another couple cases that I've already had in the last year or so that I've went through that you hopefully will be able to relate to what I'm talking about, especially if you've been watching my other videos and watching what happens with these other dogs. Remember, every dog is an individual. Every dog's different. And as I go into it, I sense, I feel, and I realize what's the best answer for that dog. We've got to get through this period where he's showing so much fear and he gets over that fear. So we're going to do a little bit of this dog daddy right now, not that much, but remember, I'm not just doing this for sensationalism, get through it, and then I go on down the road and this customer doesn't get the help and the education that they need. Just because you see that dog going through the flooding and now it becomes relaxed because it has to, you're forcing it, doesn't mean that that's necessarily a conducive thing overall in the overall spectrum. Remember, we have an ignorant customer. We have somebody that has no clue and has allowed this behavior to become a problem because they don't take the dog out. They don't do anything. Their lifestyle is such that they haven't done anything to develop the child. I mean, this dog's 2 years old. When they're a baby, they're getting imprinted and they're being affected. They're like a malleable piece of clay. You need to get your dogs out, people. You need to get together with a professional that's going to be able to help you teach the dog, but to develop the dog to be a strong individual. Think about this. If you had a child, wouldn't you want that child to be the strongest and the most confident and have the best education that they could before they went out and faced the world in the real world, right? You would want that, right? And if you did your job as a good parent, by the time they get 18 and they go out into the world, they're strong enough to handle anything that comes at them. And that's what you want. You don't want a meek, scared, insecure child that always has to be coddled. You want a child that's going to be able to take on the world and deal with anything that may come at them. And that's you as a good parent, that development, that child development. Same thing's true with a dog. There's not really much difference in that regards, right? How we do it, yes, we approach it with dog psychology, but at the same time, my overall goals, what I'm trying to achieve is a strong dog that's confident and able to take on the world. And that's why when I talk about protection, I teach a dog to be pretty much of a man stopper, and I do a lot of work to develop that dog to be a strong dog in the aspect of protection, but I never want my dog to have to bite somebody, and so the confidence is the key. If they're confident with everything they do, they just go out in the world, they're good with people, and then when I condition the dog to do the protection, it's there when I give a key word or key action from the person. and I've got what I need to protect my home and family, right? So it's how you develop that. It's really important. Now, a dog like this comes to me, and these people have missed all that. They've got a busy lifestyle. They're doing all these things, and they didn't reach out to get help until they see this. And now they say, well, we need to get help. Well, reality and truth, they should have developed this dog when it was a child. And I'm not saying this because I want to beat the customer up, but I always generalize, and I try to make sure that people learn and grow from what I go through as a trainer and show you so that you become educated and you realize it all starts from when that dog comes home to you at the house. Right at 8 weeks of age, out of the litter, you need to start working with that dog right away and expose it to the environment and do it in the right way. Get together with a professional. That's what we're here for. That's what I do. I eat, breathe, and sleep dogs. I can't expect you to do that, but I'm here to help you and guide you, right? So now, Onyx is showing a lot of fear this morning. I've been into the kennel a couple, 2 or 3 times. He's going to not be too happy, so he may go a little bit more aggressive and try to go after me. But you'll see what happens here. He's already getting better. The last couple times I've come in, he's tried to go after me and bite me out of fear. He's totally fear-oriented. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body. Look at his body language. Very stiff, his tail's between his legs. He's a very fearful dog. Now, I've decided that I'm going to kind of flood him. So I already went through that this morning. A little bit of putting him up in the air and talking him through it. And now you see he's fearful, but he's not going after me. He's not trying to fight because he's getting a little bit more comfortable with me. Each time I come in and do this, he'll get better and better. And then food is going to take in. He didn't get fed last night. He's going to be hungry. And when I come up with a bowl, he's associating that bowl towards food. So we're going to use that. The other thing we're going to use is we're going to use this dog next door to him. She's a sweetheart, and she loves me, right? So because of this body language that she's given me, I can walk over and give her all kinds of attention. He's going to start realizing that I'm the nice guy, along with food and everything else. But instead of letting this dog stall and not putting the pressure on him, I basically flooded the animal and got him through it a little bit better so that he starts to build a bond with me. So now I've pushed it. You always hear me talking about always too fast, never too slow. But every now and then there's times that I'll do this because I want to get the dog through their fear. He's stressed out. But watch, this is the before. Watch what happens as we start to build our relationship and he gets through these stages. The tail will come out. He'll start being happy to see me. All this stuff will change. And then I will slowly take that and I will go walking around the property. Then we'll go out in public and slow but sure. And you don't know what he's going to do when he gets out in public, you know, with that relationship that I'm going to be giving him. But we're going to get him more and more used to it. He wouldn't even let me touch his head. I couldn't do anything. Now at least he's accepting it somewhat. He's not growling at me. He's stiff though. He is definitely stiff. But he'll get better and better each time I come up. He's not wanting to take food because he's overridden with fear, with insecurity. He doesn't want to take the food yet, but he will because hunger will set in. He'll start wanting to eat and right when he takes one piece of food when he's on his way, right? And then I'll make sure he gets fed and I'll walk away and feed him at night and he'll not take his food for the first day or so probably. He probably won't eat tonight again because he's so in this state of mind. It's where his mental state of mind is at right now. I've got to try to get him through this. Good boy. And there's not much. Come. Good boy. Good, Onyx. Good. Come, Onyx. Nope. All right. Good boy. You're all right. Good boy. Good. There you go. Now change my posture. You notice where I was at before. I was here, right? He's more accepting of it here because he can't see me. There's more pressure on him when I go to here, right? But I'm going down to his level. Good dog. Good. I want to let him hear my voice. As much of my voice, as much body contact as I can give him. And I'll come do this 4 or 5 times today. Each time, and I'll try to make it as best as I can. And I'll keep offering him food until maybe he starts to take it. Tonight he'll get his food bowl down, but he may not eat for the first day or two. Hunger will take over, and he will start to eat. As he starts to eat and feel a little bit better out of the pattern and routine of me coming up and trying to be friendly with him, the better he'll get. I've got to get him through this stage and be able to walk him around property and get him through this fear stage because fear overrides everything. And that's why I tell people, just get your dog out and do it in the right way. That's why I say go to a professional, right? Because a professional is going to teach you and get you to do things the right way, right? Tomorrow I have a little puppy, about 12 weeks old coming in, closer to 16 weeks. And that puppy's a Connie Corso. And the dog's a pretty good dog, but a Connie is driven by a fear instinct that's there. Their aggression comes from more of a fear side of the equation for the most part, right? Depends on how the dog's been developed. If you have a professional that knows their Connies and gets the dog through, they're giving them all this exposure, you're going to have a lot more stable of an animal. But most people don't do that. They see the quality in the dog at home, and the dog's real friendly with the family, and they, oh my God, he's just such a great dog. They don't realize that without taking the dog out in public, when that dog matures into himself, that aggression coming from a fear side of the equation ends up being a very unstable animal and very dangerous dog a lot of times, right? Try to hand me the keys at a 150-pound dog or 120-pound dog and say, can you fix it? And I have to work my way through all this fear, and with the Connie, he's going to tear you up. Right? So it comes from a different place because you missed that crucial developmental periods in the dog's life. You need to start working with this stuff when the dogs are puppies. Don't miss that critical development period from birth. You get them at 8 weeks of age, you start working with the animal, and then you start taking them out in public as much as you can to desensitize them, to get them so used to public and environment that they're blasé, right? And that they're stable and they're well developed in that regards. Again, I'll say it again and again, training is not just heel, sit, down, stay, guys. There's a psychology involved. There's a mental state of mind where this dog is at. Look where this dog is at. Fearful, shaking, afraid, right? We want to help this dog the best we can. And a lot of times the aggression comes from that side of the equation, and people will end up getting the dog put down because they don't know what they're doing. It's not all about hot dogs and everything else, right? Good dog, good. All I'm doing now is body massage, right? Making the dog feel good when I come over to pet the dog. After a while, the dog will associate me in a positive manner and we'll build a relationship. Not taking food. So this is the first morning. She came in yesterday afternoon. I'm leaving a leash on the dog so I have something to control the animal, and he's got a muzzle on. Okay, and I want this off as quick as I can, but I don't want to do it until I trust the dog and our relationship starts to come together. And it will. It will. You watch. This is day one. So you get to see something that's the very beginning, and then I'll show you the finished product as we go along. You'll see this dog grow in stature and confidence and everything else. Good. And then we got to get together with the customer to make sure that they keep up on the training. If they don't stay on top of the training, what happens, and I'll give you some examples of this in one of my yak sessions, some of my other cases that I've had over the last year or so that I've had to deal with, and what happened with them that either worked or didn't work. Remember what I always tell my customers, there are no guarantees with a dog like this. All I can do is the best job I can. And with my skill level and my ability to work with animals, I do a pretty good job. These dogs, a lot of times I'll save dogs, right? I save a lot more dogs than the purely positive crowd ever could, right? And it's because of my ability to understand positive and negative, and having negative punishment, positive punishment, all these things, right? You don't even realize what those words mean. Look them up, okay? So there's a lot of work to do. This is his first day, and we'll get there. We'll show you more. This is Onyx, 2-year-old Dalmatian. I'll talk to you later.